Erst CO and Take Fury. The Kelveri Supreme Commander Vextoral stood before the holographic display, his four upper appendages crossed in what his species considered a gesture of supreme confidence. The display showed a small blue planet, third from an unremarkable yellow star in an outer spiral arm of the galaxy. "This is the homeworld of the species that destroyed our reconnaissance vessel," he asked, mandibles clicking with barely contained amusement. Strategic Advisor Nultar moved forward, her sleek exoskeleton gleaming under the command center's harsh lighting. "Yes, Supreme Commander. The species calls themselves humans. They've only achieved rudimentary faster-than-light travel within the last century." Vextoral's compound eyes shifted, focusing on the various data streams surrounding the holographic Earth. "And our reconnaissance vessel was merely conducting standard planetary assessment procedures." "Correct. The vessel approached one of their orbital research stations to gather information. The humans responded with hostility, damaging our ship before it could retreat." The Supreme Commander's outer carapace rippled with dark amusement. The Kelveri Empire had subjugated 17 spacefaring civilizations across 3 galactic sectors. Each conquest followed the same pattern: assessment, intimidation, submission. Occasionally, a species would resist, but none had ever prevailed against the Kelveri's biological technology and numerical superiority. "Deploy the 8th Cleansing Fleet," Vextoral ordered. "These humans need to learn their place in the cosmic hierarchy." Nultar hesitated, her sensory antennae twitching. "Supreme Commander, preliminary analysis suggests humans may have some unusual capabilities. Perhaps we should conduct further study before." "Are you questioning my judgment, Advisor?" Vextoral's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "No, Supreme Commander." Nultar backed away, lowering her head in submission. "Excellent. The 8th Cleansing Fleet will demonstrate our power. Their orbital stations will be destroyed, their major cities bombarded. Then, like all others, they will submit." Vextoral turned away from the display. Conversation finished. Neither the Supreme Commander nor his advisors realized they had just made the gravest mistake in Kelveri history. Captain Maya Chen woke to blaring alarms aboard the UES Defiant. She was fully alert in seconds, years of military training kicking in as she activated her neural interface. "Status report," she demanded, striding onto the bridge, still wearing her sleek clothes. Lieutenant Commander Ramirez turned from his station. "Multiple unknown vessels just transitioned into the solar system, Captain. They're bypassing Jupiter's defensive perimeter and heading straight for Earth." Chen's eyes narrowed as the tactical display lit up. "Configuration: nothing we've encountered before," Ramirez replied. "Bioorganic components, energy signatures unlike anything in our database." "First contact scenario," Chen murmured, then raised her voice. "Battle stations, alert Earth Defense Command, and activate the orbital defense grid." "Captain," Communications Officer Park interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission. Audio only, translated through the xenolinguistic matrix." Chen nodded. "Let's hear it." A harsh, clicking voice filled the bridge. "Attention, primitive species. You have offended the Kelveri Empire by attacking our research vessel. Submit to immediate occupation and species reassignment, or face extinction. You have 1 planetary rotation to comply." Silence fell across the bridge. Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes hardened. "Ma'am, sensors are detecting weapons charging on the alien vessels," Tactical Officer Quan reported. "They're targeting our lunar colony and orbital habitats." Chen didn't hesitate. "Activate quantum shield array. Deploy all defense drones. And get me Admiral Okafor at Earth Defense Command." Admiral Okafor's weathered face appeared on the main screen moments later. "Captain Chen, I assume you're tracking our visitors." "Yes, Admiral. They've issued demands and are powering weapons. Request permission to engage under First Contact Protocol Delta." The Admiral's expression turned grim. "Permission granted. Defensive measures only until they fire first. Make them regret it when they do. Understood, Admiral. The connection closed, and Chen turned to her crew. You heard the Admiral. Defensive posture, but be ready. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency. No panic, just calm determination. Humanity had prepared for this day for generations, ever since the discovery of the ruins on Mars, evidence of an ancient civilization destroyed by unknown aggressors. Earth had unified with one primary directive: never allow humanity to share that fate. Captain, Lieutenant Quan called out. They're firing on the Europa Research Station. Chen's voice was ice. They fired first. Execute Protocol Delta. All ships, engage at will. The Kelveri vessels unleashed a barrage of energy weapons at the research station, only to watch in confusion as the beams dissipated against an invisible barrier. Quantum shields holding, Quan reported. No damage to the station. Return fire, Chen ordered. Target their weapon systems only. The Defiant's response was immediate and precise. Advanced targeting systems locked onto the lead Kelveri vessel, and concentrated particle beams sliced through its biological hull with surgical precision. The alien ship's weapon emplacements went dark. Direct hit, Quan confirmed. Their weapons are offline. On the tactical display, Chen watched as the rest of Earth's defense fleet emerged from concealed positions around the solar system. The seemingly lightly defended human territory suddenly bristled with military might. Supreme Commander Vextoral stared in disbelief at the battlefield display. What should have been a simple intimidation exercise had turned into a nightmare. Half his fleet's weapons had been disabled without a single Kelveri ship managing to inflict damage on even the smallest human vessel. How is this possible? He demanded, rage causing his exoskeleton to flush a dangerous orange. Their technology was assessed as primitive. Strategic Advisor Nultar approached cautiously. Supreme Commander, we are receiving new data. It appears our initial assessment was incomplete. Explain. The humans were aware of our surveillance. They deliberately presented outdated technology to our reconnaissance vessels. Their actual capabilities appear to significantly exceed our estimates. Vextoral's compound eyes fixed on the tactical display as another of his ships reported weapons failure. Impossible. No species has ever deceived the Kelveri. This one did, Nultar stated simply. And there's more. Their ships are utilizing quantum shielding technology we thought was theoretical. Their weapons are targeting our systems with precision that suggests advanced AI targeting assistance, and they appear to have deployed some form of stealth technology that our sensors cannot penetrate. The Supreme Commander's mandibles clicked in agitation. Order the fleet to withdraw. We will regroup and return with the full might of the Kelveri Armada. Supreme Commander, his communications officer interrupted. The humans are transmitting a message to us. Vextoral hesitated, then nodded. Display it. The holographic projection showed a human female, small and seemingly fragile by Kelveri standards. Her dark eyes, however, showed no fear. Kelveri vessels, this is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth Ship Defiant. You have attacked a peaceful research facility unprovoked. Under normal circumstances, this would be considered an act of war. She paused, her expression unnervingly calm. However, as this is our first official contact, we are willing to attribute this to a cultural misunderstanding. Withdraw your forces immediately, and we can discuss this incident through diplomatic channels. Remain hostile, and we will be forced to demonstrate exactly why starting a war with humanity is the last mistake any species ever makes. You have 5 minutes to respond. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. She threatens us. Vextoral finally sputtered. The Kelveri Empire does not retreat. Nultar stepped forward. Supreme Commander, I strongly advise caution. Our preliminary scans during the engagement detect unusual activity in the outer reaches of this system. The humans may have resources we haven't yet observed. Vextoral paced the command deck, his pride warring with his tactical sense. Finally, he spoke. Order 3 vessels to withdraw. The rest will continue the attack. If these humans wish to see the true might of the Kelveri, we shall oblige them. On the bridge of the Defiant, Chen watched the tactical display with narrowed eyes. 3 Kelveri vessels are retreating, Quan reported. The rest are moving into attack formation. Chen nodded. They're testing us. She opened a channel to the fleet. All vessels, implement Thanatos protocol. Defense grid online. Around the solar system, previously dormant defense satellites activated. Hidden weapon platforms emerged from asteroid hiding places. The quantum shield surrounding Earth's critical infrastructure strengthened. They've made their choice, Chen said quietly. Now they learn what it means to attack humanity. As the Kelveri ships advanced, they encountered something they had never faced in their long history of conquest, an enemy that had been preparing for this moment for generations, an enemy that had discovered the ruins of a dead civilization and vowed never again. An enemy that didn't start wars, but always finished them. The Ixtianxidan EQHN, Supreme Commander Vex Toral, watched in mounting horror as his fleet's formation disintegrated into chaos. What had begun as a simple punitive action was rapidly becoming the worst military disaster in Kelveri history. Bioships 3 through 7 have gone silent, his tactical officer reported, voice strained. Vessels 9 and 12 report critical system failure. The humans are deploying some kind of nanite weapon that's consuming our organic technology. Vex Toral's compound eyes fixed on the battle display, mandibles clicking in agitation. The humans weren't just defending. They were systematically dismantling his fleet with surgical precision. Each strike targeted critical systems. Each countermeasure perfectly anticipated Kelveri tactics. How? He demanded, slamming a chidnous appendage against his command console. How could a species we'd never encountered before prepare so thoroughly for our attack strategies? Strategic advisor Nultar approached, her usual confidence replaced by unmistakable fear. Supreme Commander, we've intercepted communications between human vessels. They've been studying us for decades. Impossible. The evidence suggests otherwise. Nultar continued. They detected our long-range survey drones years ago, but allowed them to gather data, while simultaneously studying our technology. They'd been preparing for this confrontation since before we even knew of their existence. The revelation hit Vex Toral like a physical blow. The Kelveri Empire had always relied on the element of surprise, on overwhelming species before they could mount an effective defense. But these humans had turned the tables completely. Retreat, he finally ordered, his voice hollow. All vessels, immediate withdrawal. But as the remaining Kelveri ships attempted to disengage, they discovered another terrifying reality. The humans had no intention of letting them escape. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, her expression impassive as she watched the Kelveri fleet's desperate attempt to retreat. They're trying to reach the jump point near Saturn's orbit, Lieutenant Commander Ramirez reported. Chen nodded. And now they understand true fear. She opened a fleet-wide channel. All vessels, execute Containment Protocol Omega. No Kelveri ship leaves this system. Across the solar system, hidden human vessels emerged from stealth positions, cutting off the Kelveri's escape routes. The trap had been laid long before the aliens had arrived. Captain, Communications Officer Park called out, we're receiving a transmission from the Kelveri command ship. They're requesting terms of surrender. A murmur of surprise rippled through the bridge. Chen allowed herself a small, grim smile. On screen, the image of Supreme Commander Vex Toral appeared, his once proud posture now diminished. Human Captain, he began, mandibles quivering, you have demonstrated unexpected capability. The Kelveri Empire acknowledges your strength and offers cessation of hostilities. Chen studied the alien commander for a long moment before responding. Your offer comes late, Supreme Commander. You attacked without provocation. You targeted civilian research facilities. Under our laws, These are war crimes. We acted according to Kelveri Conquest Protocol. Vex Toral protested. All species must be tested for worthiness. And you failed your own test, Chen replied coldly. However, humanity is not interested in genocide. We will accept your surrender under the following conditions: complete withdrawal of all Kelveri forces from human space, full reparations for damages caused, and a binding treaty acknowledging human sovereignty. Vex Toral's compound eyes shifted rapidly, a sign of intense distress in his species. And if we refuse? Chen's expression didn't change. Then none of your ships will return to inform your empire of what happened here. The choice is yours. Admiral Helena Okafor stood in the United Earth Defense Council chamber, her dress uniform immaculate, as she addressed the assembled representatives. The Kelveri incursion has been neutralized, she reported. Captain Chen's task force performed admirably. 17 enemy vessels destroyed, 12 captured intact for study. Most importantly, we've acquired their navigational data. A hushed murmur swept through the chamber. What's the status of the Kelveri Empire? Asked the Australian representative. Admiral Okafor's expression darkened. As we suspected, this was merely a preliminary force. The Kelveri control significant territory approximately 30 light-years from our borders. Their empire encompasses over 24 star systems and 17 subjugated species. And their military capabilities? The Chinese representative inquired. Significant, but not insurmountable. Their primary advantage has always been surprise and the psychological impact of their biological technology. Now that we've neutralized both factors, we hold the tactical advantage. The Secretary-General of Earth leaned forward. Your recommendation, Admiral. Okafor took a deep breath. The Kelveri now know of our existence and our capabilities. According to their captured officers, their empire has a strict protocol for dealing with species that resist. Full mobilization and extinction-level response. They will come again, in greater numbers. She touched a control, bringing up a holographic display of the Kelveri home systems. We have two options: wait for their full invasion force, which our models suggest will arrive within 6 months, or take the fight to them now, while we still have the advantage of surprise. The room fell silent as the implications settled over the assembled leaders. Are you suggesting a preemptive strike against their empire? The European Union representative asked, voice hushed. I am suggesting we finish what they started, Okafor replied firmly. Not with genocide. That's not who we are. But we dismantle their military infrastructure, liberate the species they've subjugated, and ensure they never threaten humanity again. 6 months later, Captain Maya Chen stood on an observation deck aboard the UES Defiant, watching as the combined fleets of Earth and 6 former Kelveri subject species gathered in formation. The largest military force ever assembled in the galaxy's history, united by a common purpose. Lieutenant Commander Ramirez approached, offering a data tablet. Final reports from the liberation of Tarnvor and Epsilon Ceti, Captain. The last Kelveri holdouts have surrendered. Chen nodded, taking the tablet. And Supreme Commander Vex Toral, awaiting transport to Earth for the formal signing of the Galactic Concord. Chen turned her gaze back to the viewport, where thousands of ships, human and alien alike, floated in formation against the backdrop of stars. Do you think they understand yet? She asked quietly. Ramirez followed her gaze. The Kelveri. I'm not sure. Not just them. All of them. Chen gestured to the assembled fleet. Do they understand what makes humanity different? Ramirez considered the question. We weren't the strongest species, or the most technologically advanced, but we were the most prepared. Because we found the ruins on Mars, Chen said. We knew what happened to them. An entire civilization wiped out by aggressors they never saw coming. From that moment, humanity united around a single principle: never again. She turned to face her officer. We built our civilization on the ashes of extinction, Ramirez. Everything we did, every satellite, every colony, Every technological advance was designed with survival in mind. Not conquest, not expansion for its own sake. Just ensuring that what happened to the Martians would never happen to us. Outside the viewport, the fleet began to disperse, ships heading to their assigned sectors to maintain the new peace. The Kelveri thought they found another victim, Chen continued. Instead, they found the species that ended the cycle of conquest. Because humanity doesn't start wars, but we always finish them. Ramirez completed the ancient military motto. Chen nodded, a small smile finally breaking through her professional demeanor. And now we make sure no one else has to. In the vastness of space, the remnants of the once mighty Kelveri Empire faced a new reality. They had learned what countless others would come to understand in the centuries that followed. The most dangerous species in the galaxy wasn't the one that conquered the most territory or built the biggest weapons. It was the one that had stared extinction in the face and decided, never again.